Good morning to all my awesome friends and family. It's fairy time. We're in the cozy corner today, and we have to be quiet because our wonderful little teacher is teaching the fairies all about gardening. Gardening is very important to the fairies. That's how they feed themselves. And look at how beautiful she is. She's older, but beautiful, and she's full of wisdom and information for that little fairy. I think she needs to tap that stick on her hand. Looks like the fairy is daydreaming about something more fun to do than gardening. Do you get that feeling too? Well, just be quiet. And here is in the garden, love growing. That's today's lesson. And this fairy is very serious. The older fairies teach the younger fairies what they should be doing. And this one, she's got her little stick out here to poke the holes in the soil to plant her seeds. And she has her watering can to water the seeds. And trying to teach the young ones about the love of gardening. She tapped the stick on her hand a couple of times and says, "Pay attention, pay attention. This is important to learn how to garden, how to take care of ourselves, and be independent. Do you understand me?" She looks seriously in the little fairy's eyes. "Do you understand me?" And the little fairy says, "Yes, yes, I understand. Food is very important. Our tummies will get achy if we don't have something to eat." That's right. That's right, my sweet little fairy. I want you to remember that. Gardening is very, very important. This is something you need to learn to do. Well, the little fairy looked up in amazement. "You're right. You're so right. I shouldn't be daydreaming on such an important lecture about the garden. I'm sorry, teacher." "That's okay, my sweet little fairy. When I was young, my mind seemed to wander too if it wasn't something about play. We all have this problem. But you'll have plenty of time to play and have a good time. Right now, it's time to learn how to garden." "Yes, teacher, you're right. Gardening is very, very important. We need to keep our beautiful garden looking beautiful. We have to take care of it. Don't you agree?" "Yes, teacher, I agree. I wouldn't want to live where there wasn't beautiful plants all about me. You're right." Well, I'm so glad that you took this lesson seriously today now. Now, I'm going to give you some more great information about gardening, and I want you to pay attention, my dear, dear, dear. We don't want to interfere in the lesson, so I'm going to just talk about the little fairy garden and leave the teacher and the little fairy alone. They are having a very serious conversation about the love of gardening. But look at the beautiful little schoolhouse we have, and even the schoolhouse flowers all about, and the beautiful trim. This is also where the teacher lives. Isn't it beautiful? The little yellow schoolhouse. And of course, there's flowers all about. She was serious about the gardening lesson. And as you can see, butterflies all about too. They love coming and listening to the classes on gardening. They know they'll have new flowers next year because the teacher has done such a great job teaching the students how to garden. And the woodland creatures are all about too. They love to know there's going to be plenty of new plants in the garden because they also eat them too. The fairies are wonderful about sharing their garden with them. So let's talk about this garden. This post is a 0 post. Yep, another 0 post. Everything here I already had for quite some time. The tray that this is sitting in, I probably have had it maybe 15, 20 years. I don't know. I've had it a long, long time. And I've used it in lots of posts. The teacher, I have had her for probably about 7 years. I bought her at an antique store, if you can believe it. And the little in the garden, Love Growing, I'm not quite sure how long I've had that. But it's been a while, probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 years. And this little fairy, I think I got last year from Emily. And my little hedgehogs were from last year. And most of the plants you see are from last year also. Most of the butterflies were bought this year or in the last couple of years. Some of them are 2 and 3 years old. I always buy some new butterflies every year. And for my birthday and Mother's Day, my daughter got me these beautiful butterflies. They're Mackenzie Childs. I'm going to see if I can't pick up a couple more in the next year or two. They come in different colors and variety, but aren't they beautiful? Let me know what you thought about this little fairy garden and how important gardening is. I think in this day and age, teaching our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren the importance of a garden are very, very important. I never had any grandmother to teach me anything. One of my grandmothers lived in Texas that did like to garden, and I only saw her a few times, maybe 8 or 10 times in my whole life. So she didn't have time to teach me gardening. My other grandmother lived out here in California, but she was pretty busy, and she was also pretty sick. She died when I was in 5th grade. So, and my parents did very little gardening too. It's funny because both my parents lived on, I would say, small little family farms. My father and mother grew things all their lives. But like I said, they lived in Texas, and my grandmother out here and grandfather grew things too. But I missed out on learning that from them. So try to teach your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren something about growing. Give them the joy of growing. Have them enjoy watching things grow. I'm doing my best to teach my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Well, I shouldn't say it like that, because I didn't grow anything probably until I had grandchildren. I always liked to garden, so I shouldn't say it either like that, but to actually grow food, that's something I've been doing in the last 5 or 6 years. But I'm trying to teach these great-grandbabies, and we'll see what happens. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video today in the fairy garden. Please make sure that you give me a thumbs up, and give me a thumbs up helps you too. It helps me, for YouTube knows that you're enjoying the content, and it's helping you. So when you come back, accidentally click on a video you've already watched, you can see you have a thumbs up. Then you don't have to worry about watching it a second or third time. You just go and click to the next video I did. You know you've already watched. So it's helpful for you too. So, if you're not already a family member, we'd love to have you. Please, please think about it. We always love new family members. Well, hope you enjoyed what we did today. Hugs and kisses to all my awesome friends and all my new friends. See you in the next video.